Mhm.
Okay.
This is me saying something normal.
Now wind it up.
Here's my actual normal.
We're
Oh,
going. We're
good.
good.
Oh, we're already going.
Yeah, now.
Why do you always surprise me like that?
Because it's more
Like,
fun that
I
way.
can't fucking plan that way. I
Then
just am in the middle of like popping zit on the inner thigh that happened from rubbing my legs too much while I was running today, and like doing fuck all because I'm expecting you still to be playing around with the channels, and here you come in. We're already going.
bro, if I wasn't recording, we would miss the thigh popping zit action, and nobody wants to miss that.
He needs to see that. I
No.
assure you, that is not something that needs to be done.
Nobody wants to miss that, bro. That's the goal. That's why people tune in. And by people, I mean all three of you.
You mean
Me.
my mom?
Yeah, me, you, and your mom. She wants to know if your thighs are need some cream or something, bro.
They probably do after a run like that, man. 7 miles today was not easy on my body. And I felt so slow and sluggish. You eat too much food and then you try and get running. You're like, ugh, I can't even move. I can't even breathe. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. But I'm sure it feels terrible.
That's because you don't run, right?
Not anymore. No, I used to. I used to run, used to bike, used to work out. But guess what?
Back when you played a bunch of soccer, when you were
Yeah,
living here
like
too.
4 games a week, and now I do get up
Hey,
from
now
this
you
room
play
and
four
leave.
games a week.
Yeah,
You play
video
4 games
games.
a week.
Bro, I haven't. I get up from this room, I walk into another room, and that's the extent of my exercise, especially in winter. It's
Well,
unfortunate.
why? You got to do something.
Well, I mean, 2021's a new year, right? We might be allowed to go outside.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, we're fucking about. How was your Christmas?
Christmas was good. Watched some movies. Saw a new Soul movie on Disney Plus. I recommend it. That's the first recommendation of the potty.
That's what you said yesterday. And
I
guess
know.
what?
Did you
Guess
watch
what?
it?
I didn't take you up on your offer, no.
No surprise there, but you know.
Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm going to do it tonight, but
You're not gonna. You're not gonna. You're not gonna. Yeah. I
look,
doubt. I doubt that you'll watch it before the year's end.
look, now you're trying to goat me into it. Just make me. This is actually what happened with Seth last night. I asked Seth, well, what are you going to do tonight now that because we went over to my mom's for dinner. We had a lovely meal.
That
Cornish
you
game
made.
hen. Yep.
Let's see. Well,
Well, I helped. My mom mostly made it. When her and I get in the kitchen together, we have creative differences. And so I mostly allow her to operate unfettered in her own kitchen, mostly. But we had, the Cornish game hen, we had stuffing, we had scratch made rolls, we had Brussels sprouts with bacon. Oh, it's so
I'm
good.
interested in what happens when you are you like standing over your mom's shoulder, like, "Hey, mom, you're flipping that wrong."
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
You sure?
And then,
You sure you wanted to cook for that long?
yeah, and then when I'm doing the cooking and she's there, she's kind of doing the same, like, I don't know, maybe you should add a little bit. Oh, do you really think that you need that much meat in this, Steven? Oh, okay. So it's mostly a compromise, but sometimes it's a very tongue biting compromise. Anyway, back to the original point. So Seth and I had our lovely dinner. We came home. We're kind of bullshitting in the kitchen, right? And I'm like, "So you're gonna play some Cyberpunk today?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm not really feeling it." And I was like, "Seth, you always do this with your games. Like, you get them, you get into them, and then you just don't finish them." And he's like, "Yeah, but I've just gotten to the game, or I've gotten to the point in the game where it's just not hard, and I think I lose, interest." And I was like, "Oh, I think that's bullshit. I think you're realizing it's way too hard for you, and you definitely can't finish." And he's like, "Don't do that." And I was like, "Hey, look, it's not my fault that you can't complete the game because it's just too hard for you." And he's like, "Stop it. I know what you're trying to do." I was like, "Look, if you just want to wimp out on it and leave it unfinished, that's fine. Be my guest, but I just kind of shows that you're not as great a gamer as we thought that you were." And he's like, "All right, that's it." And so he launched up and played Cyberpunk because of it.
The first time a man has ever had to be goaded into finishing. Very nice work.
So the time my finishes come unprovoked, but Seth has to really be
Surprise!
coerced. So, speaking of Cyberpunk,
Let's speak of Cyberpunk.
we've been playing a lot.
We have.
Over the last couple days. I haven't because I'm real bummed out.
Why
But
don't you tell the story about what happened to you inside? By the way, this is gonna be spoiler free because I have not finished the game, so it's gonna be spoiler free or I'm out. I cut this off right here, and a podcast goes out right there, and that's it.
That's it.
We got nothing else. So spoiler free, you're safe here.
So
Kinda. Go.
you know, you can look at my GOG, and you have seen my GOG. I've got like 60 hours in that game. I beat the game. I was fucking 9 missions away from platinum. Nine missions.
That's very
Okay?
close. I've never platinum a game before.
I've never platinumed a game before, and I was really excited. I was stoked. I
There's a lot of
actually
past tense here, by the way, if that's not
I
leading.
I love this game. I love playing it. I have so much fun with it. I was so stoked to platinum it out. And then it's gone. It's just gone. I'm back to level 2. It's all gone.
So here's the
Because
question: why is it
yeah.
gone?
So,
Whose fault is it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, dude.
It's one of
Because
those
I
up in
I
the
don't
air.
know I don't know why it wasn't cloud syncing, but it's gone because it wasn't cloud syncing. Apparently all of my save files were on my local desktop, and I reformatted my computer because I got a new video card.
We'll get into that.
And
Let's
yeah,
stay on
we'll get into
Cyberpunk.
that
We'll definitely get
because I
into that.
got a new video card and I wanted to do a fresh install, all of that, and then I did it and I loaded up my game, and the last cloud save file was at level fucking 2. So I have the
Ah,
most achievements, the most time played, and the most wins in a game for level 2.
and here you are, level 2. On the bright side, the tracker or the GOG client was tracking everything you did, syncing all of that information, making sure that it was still available for you to look at from level 2, where it stopped syncing your save file.
Dude, that it's I think one of the most disheartening things that I've ever had happen to me with a video game, and it just has killed my motivation to want to go back, to want to play, to want to like. Even though I love the game, I really do love the game, and we'll get into that in a second. But I love the fucking game, but I it's hard because I've just had 9 missions. I had 9 missions before I platinumed it.
Put that in perspective. How many had you done? How many missions had you done? Estimated.
It's I mean, it had to have been like well over 100, 130. Like I mean, it was everything. I had bought or I had purchased most of the cars. I had gone back and like a lot of the missions that kind of lead you one way or another in the end of the game. You can just kind of go back and do once you finished it. And I had gone back and I had done those, and I could kind of see how the story would work out in different paths and everything. And then it was all for naught. I don't even know what to say about this, actually. I'm more just complaining and venting because
It's the
I
perfect storm of a game that had such a terrible, terrible, beautiful, beautiful launch, all of the above, and another GOG client, which is the only thing I play on GOG is this game, so that's new. I don't know if it's the client's fault or the game's fault. And your maniacal drive to have a fresh, clean, beautiful start, and all of that combined into the perfect storm of
dude.
fuckery, mucho fuckery.
So yeah, that's what happened. I finished the game, I beat the game, I did all but 9 missions, and now I have to restart the game. Despite the fact that I really just wanted to finish it from my own.
I'm smiling because on one side it's it's kind of funny, but like inside, that's on the outside. On the inside, I definitely feel like, wow, that would really suck. I would be just fucking gutted.
It
So I
is,
feel
man.
your pain, but I am smiling, and it's very sad.
Well, I mean, let's transition into the good of the game.
Oh, it's a
You've
good game.
you've played a lot. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
looking at your activity now, and you're what, close to 30 hours?
Yeah, it's a little misleading because I kind of put it on pause and just go eat dinner, so I don't have to launch everything all over again. But I'm not saying I haven't put a lot of hours in. I put a good amount of hours in, mostly in the wee hours of the morning. Uh,
So
but I love it. It's beautiful. We both play on PC, and it's beautiful and glitchy still. There's still bugs galore. Like yesterday, I was playing. I got on my motorcycle, and all of a sudden, I shot 400 feet into the air and sideways, and I just
we're going over the good. We're going over the good.
it is good. I was like, oh, look at me go. That was awesome. I was like, I'm going to die and restart where I was. It's not a huge game breaker or anything, but like, I just was like, all of a sudden, I got on the motorcycle and was flying through the air. It was beautiful.
It's always it's
Microsoft
always
Flight
good
Sim.
when it's always good when the broken shit is so funny that it just ends up being a good part of it too.
Yeah, I mean,
um,
the story, the acting is, I don't know about the acting, but like the characters, uh, they're really good. Like you get into a bunch of stories with a bunch of different characters, and I think those connections between you and the characters are really good. And when they're that's
yeah,
kind of, I think, when the game is at its best, is when you're in the story. You know, it's such a wide open world. There's so much to do. There's so many million little things to do, and those things are fun and they keep you engaged and all that. But like what keeps me coming back is the story and being in it with those characters. Whether it's my girlfriend or your girlfriend. Yeah, I have a girlfriend in the game.
I have one in the game too, which means I'm no longer single
Yeah.
virtually.
Turns out my girlfriend in the game rejects me. I have doesn't keep me from going back though, baby.
That's okay. My girlfriend rejected me twice before finally she was like, "Yeah, you know what? I like you.
Oh, good. You're
Let's do
saying
this."
there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance. Yeah, man. I'll say this: the story is really really good, and it is really intriguing, and at the same time takes a lot of twists and turns that you're not expecting. It's not. I mean, there are some things obviously that are predictable and follow some certain tropes, but for the most part, it's a really good divergence in typical RPG storytelling, and obviously no spoilers, but there's always a different ending and different way and path that you could have gone that would have made, whatever your story ended up completely different. And I've seen all of the endings through the game, and uh, each one of them is, that's another one of the reasons I'm so sad about my save, because there are certain endings that I saw where I was like, man, how would you even end up in that position? And as I was going back and playing through some of the stuff that I had missed, I was like, "Oh wow, that's how you end up in that position. This is kind of the transfer point." And yeah, I mean the storytelling is phenomenal. The I think that the voice acting is really really good. Some people said that Keanu's voice acting wasn't all that great, but I think
Whatever.
given the context of what he is in the game too, his voice acting is actually pretty well done. And I mean, then you top it all off with being the most graphically beautiful game I think that I've ever seen, and maybe the most graphically challenging game too, um, that I've
And that's
ever seen.
not just because of all the boobs.
That is not, or because of my little wiener in there.
They were able to capture it perfectly.
Just that little micro, it's
Yeah. You don't understand how
rent
many pixels it takes to be able to show that in great
one,
detail.
one. It takes one pixel. That's it. But I think that because of the storytelling, because of the graphics, the music is really good in it too. The music's really well
Oh,
done.
it's phenomenal.
That it's just such a good game. It's not my game of the year, um, but it is phenomenal, and it could be, a game of the year going forward for me when I go back and play it with some DLC or just with some of the glitches fixed up. But man, it is so so good. And the gun, oh, I should say that too. What do you think about the gunplay? I think it's phenomenal. I think it's so much fun.
I like that you kind of what you alluded to. You have so many choices, and you can pick whatever you want to do. Like I get that that's kind of the open world thing, sandbox, do whatever build whatever you want to build. But in a lot of games, Assassin's Creed, you can't build what you want to build. You can't do what you want to do. You have a million missions to choose from, and you can choose which ones you want to do for the most part. I know there's a little bit of variation. You'll probably push back on that, but for the most part, it's not a real sandbox. It's just here are all the toys you get to play with. It doesn't matter what ones you do. It doesn't matter what ones you don't do. But it feels like if you want to go in, you can play this game a lot of different ways, like you said, and end it a lot of different ways. But same thing with the guns. You can build a smart gun that homing missiles everything. You can go in with just a pistol and boost the hell out of your stats so that your pistol's super OP. You can go shotgun. Like, it doesn't sound like a lot of choices, but it really is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty diverse and variant. It's so much fun. And on top of that, like my favorite part, I don't know about my favorite part. One of my favorite parts is driving the motorcycle in Night City in first person mode. It's so intense.
You love that shit,
Oh
man.
man, you pull a
I
little
do not
e-brake and you
enjoy
just
that.
then you're around the corner and then you like bouncing off a car and like it's just it's so good, man. I
Funny.
love driving so much. I don't do it just to do it, but like I think I've fast traveled twice in the game so far. I hate fast traveling. I love driving everywhere to get to where I want to go.
I do drive a lot of places, but I don't do it in first person very often. Mostly because in terms of kind of shitty parts about it, the fucking handling and driving in the car sometimes is just ridiculous. And even when you're going slow speeds, you're like, woo! And doing donuts and all sorts of shit. And it's like, golly, just go. Give me like a Mario Kart at least. I'll just get through
Oh,
the city on a Mario Kart.
it's not F1, it's not Need for Speed, it's not Mario Kart, it's not like highly tuned racing driving. You're not gonna need a steering
No.
wheel and a brake set to be able to enjoy this. It's not even close to any of those things. It's probably not good driving at all, but it's so much fun.
Have you messed around with the melee combat, like the blades and stuff?
I fight all my bosses with a blade.
Do you really?
Yeah. So like if there's a boss, I'll go blade them. But for the most part, the only thing I've done is one. There's a boxing match you can do in the game that you can fight multiple people, and I fought the first one, like hand to hand, bare knuckle stuff.
That's crazy. I have not done any for the most part, any melee combat, and especially not on a boss. Uh, why just on bosses? Why not like all over?
Because they're so powerful, and like some of them block your bullets. Like if you have smart bullets, they like block them, so you sit there and waste all of your bullets on them, and they're only at 50%, and you're like, well, now I have no more bullets, so I gotta switch to something else. I don't know. So then early on I found out like if you just go in there with a sword, it makes it a lot. They tend to fight you more melee if you're fighting them more melee, it seems like to me. I don't know if that's true. I don't know, whatever. But I feel like I have a better chance when I get a whack on them and they go down injured. I can just chunk away at their health.
That's interesting because I didn't really use any of the smart bullets, and I also didn't use much of the melee. So I have very little context for both of these. I went more, traditional rounds and pistols, and was like headshot critting things for 35,000 damage. So
Yeah, in
I
my
had no clue.
dreams. Not even close for me. I think 12,000 is the most I've ever got.
Yeah, man. Well, now my pistol's all gone, so I can work on getting that back. But
Welcome back to the low lives.
so is it fun though? Is the melee fun? Like I said, I don't know much about it. I haven't done it. Does it feel like it's just you smashing your button to swing a sword around, or does it feel like there's some skill in it?
There's a little bit. I don't know. The boxing match I was in, I hated because it just feels like you have the ability to block and dodge, but their follow through is just stretches across the screen. So if they're punching and you dodge, they continue to follow you with their follow through and they'll still hit you. And that's annoying as hell. So I don't enjoy that because that sucks. But with the sword, yeah, a little bit, like depending on the boss. Sometimes it's just easier to go in there and just hack them to death because you don't have to do anything but button mash. But there's one boss in particular that I fought that has swords, and I did more blocking. You can block and like get a little perfect parry window kind of thing and have a slice back. I did some of that, but I don't know if it's harder or more skilled by any means. I wouldn't call what I do more skilled for sure, but it's fun. I have a good time with that a little bit.
Maybe that, I mean, I got to play through it again now, so maybe I'll just go a full melee build and see what I can do.
You'll last till level 4. I don't think it'll be
Yeah,
that fun. Maybe it's amazing. I don't know.
I'm doing it anymore.
All right, I think it's time we talk about the bad because there's so much.
Yeah,
bad.
I was kind of expecting you to bring it up.
So much bad. Oh, because I'm negative? You know what? I'm done with the bad.
Already?
I already mentioned it.
Okay. Well, guess we're on. See you later.
All right. Like I already mentioned the flying through the air. I've glitched through the bottom of the map. I've gotten just random weird stuff that'll happen where I'll jump on my motorcycle and pull the trigger I play on controller. So I pull the trigger to have it hit the gas, so to speak, and I jump off the motorcycle. And I can't get it to work unless I run out of the area. It's like an area specific glitch that if I run out of that area and then get a new motorcycle, then I can use it. I'm like, I tried loading game. Anyway, there's tons of not game breakers. There's tons of game annoyers I haven't seen any game breakers on my end.
So I have had a game breaker. Can I tell you about
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Well, unless it has major spoilers.
I mean, I've had a few game breakers actually. But the most annoying one and the one that continued on for the longest, obviously I won't spoil it, but it's near the end of the game, and you're doing a mission and you have to kill so many enemies, right? Well, every single time, and I did it like 5 or 6 times before it finally, worked out for me. Every single time, I'd have at least, like, 1 or 2 of the enemies that spawned underneath the world or inside an aspect of the, portion of the map that I was on, to where they couldn't get out and come after me, and I had no way of reaching or shooting them. So I had to restart that mission like 7 different times until finally uh, all of the mobs spawned in the right places to where I could kill enough of them to actually complete the mission. And that was incredibly frustrating. Like, you go through it all, and every time you got to fight through all of them. It takes time, it takes a lot of effort, all of that sort of shit. And just to find out that one dumb motherfucker decided he was going to spawn in the middle of the planet, and you have to fight him in order to progress. Like, shit like that. I've had the bugs where like your car spawns in the ground and then immediately blows up, or some of the AI used to be a little bit worse in terms of like you'd shoot and they'd all just react in the same exact way. They'd all have the exact same animation, and so sometimes they'd be super delayed in it. That's been annoying. The like police just spawning behind you no matter where you're at in the middle of nowhere is really irritating. But the most game breaking one was definitely right there, end of the game. It's literally the last mission that I'm doing, and I have to restart it from the checkpoint 7 times in order to go.
Okay, so that sucks. I've had one kind of similar, but nothing like that. I'm chasing blueprints right now to get guns to craft. And one of the guys that had the blueprint died way up on this rafter, and he wasn't ever shooting me. It wouldn't end the mission, and I was like, where the hell is this guy? And I finally found him way the hell up. He wasn't shooting. I shot at him to see if he'd jump down. He wouldn't jump down, so I finally just killed him. And then the blueprint was up there, so I was like, oh my god, now I gotta get up there. So and then I spent 20 minutes like little like pixel parkouring along these edges of these things to try and get my way up. I finally did and got it, but
You did do it.
yeah, it's not the way it was. I don't think you're ever supposed to get up there. Not that it was like out of bounds or anything, but like the pixel fucking that I had to do to get up there was just awful. Like on the edge of this thing, jump, double jump, and then like squeeze my way into the wall of this. Anyway, it's annoying.
Do you think that it took you more time to do that than it would have to just restart that mission?
Yes, by far, like by a lot. But like I was like, man, I think I can do this, which kind of encouraged me to be like, I bet I could get into some places that would be really fun, like on top of these buildings that you never really go unless you're unless you're bored and you just want to jump around.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. It's just cool, man. Like there are some crappy parts. Spike,
I was gonna say we got to talk about Spike, right?
yeah,
Like that's
he
the big elephant in the room.
he got it on PS4, and PS4 it was awful. Like one of my favorite memes of the year was by far the Jurassic Park Cyberpunk comparison between PC and PlayStation 4 on Twitter that came out, and it was so good where it just looks like garbage. The faces wouldn't load in for a good 10 seconds until they were just waxy nothing faces, and then they'd load in. All the assets are garbage looking. Like that is what it is. It looks like crap on the OG consoles. It's not good. But it gets even worse when you have a glitch where you can't progress because the car is flipped 90 degrees and you can't get in it. You can't do the mission to be able to progress yourself forward in the game because the car is that way. And the only way to fix that is maybe start the game over entirely. Because Spike tried going back and starting the mission over, all these a million different things for hours. No luck, nothing.
Yeah, let's put it in context. I mean, this part that he was at is an integral part. Everybody has to do this part. And it's not super far into the game, but it's far enough in to where it's like, God damn it, I have to go back and redo all of that just to stand a chance to get past this. It's like for him, it was 10 hours in, which he probably could have zoomed through, and done within an hour or two. But still, he had done all of the side quests and stuff. And to then just be like, okay, well, now I got to restart the game to try and get past this was a little bit bullshit. I know it was a lot of bullshit. And
Oh
then
yeah.
to top it off, he tries to get his refund. Uh,
Well,
he
hold
tries
up.
to get it.
Cyberpunk, the CD Projekt Red came out with their statement finally
Now,
apologizing that say, "Hey, we're sorry to console. We shouldn't have released it. Go and get a refund." They
yeah,
didn't
but
have
I,
anything
I
in.
was going to get there. I was going to get
Well,
there
no, that happened before he went to
because
try and get the refund.
he tried. No, he tried to get a refund prior to that,
Oh, okay, all right.
and they denied him, despite all of the community saying, "Hey, this shit doesn't work. We can't do this. Refund our game." They said, "No, we don't do that. Once you download the game,
Yeah.
then that's yours." So then he said, "All right, well, maybe I'll just have to wait for a patch." And he doesn't say it near that calm or collected. He
he
spikes
was
pissed. Uh,
he was deep on the hate train.
for good fucking
Yeah,
reason.
I agree.
Like, fine.
Yeah, I felt for him.
And then CD Project Red comes out and says, "All right, well, we're sorry, it's not meant or it's not made or optimized for consoles yet. We're sorry, please feel free to get a refund." Which, everyone interprets as, okay, this is CD Project Red having said, okay, yeah, Sony or Xbox or whatever, go ahead and refund these people's money. So then he tries it again, and then he still doesn't get a refund because Sony's a bunch of
Hours with
dicks
customer
about it.
service. Hours with those assholes.
Hours, yeah, just fighting back and forth, and then they refuse it. And
Well,
then,
they refused it because CD Projekt Red, in their statement of like, go and get a refund. We hope will stick with us. We have a patch coming, hopefully in Jan. Or I don't think they said hopefully. But we have a patch coming planned for January. Which this is the game that's been supposed to come out for 10 years, delayed endlessly, delayed after it went gold, delayed everything, but we're gonna really believe that the patch is coming in January to fix the game breakers.
right.
Bullshit on that. But that's why Sony was denying. They're like, no, just wait for the patch in January. We're like, okay, that'll happen.
So then he doesn't get the refund, and a buddy of ours gifts it to him on Steam. So then he's playing on Steam, and finally Sony does the pull the game from the store and give refunds and makes it right. So not only has CD Projekt Red lost a lot of faith, I think, among its consumers, and especially Spike. I'll be surprised if Spike ever jumps on the early train for a
Well,
CD game again. But also, Sony was a bunch of dicks about it, man.
yeah, not that you were ever on board that I'm buying a PS5 train, and maybe you were just goading Spike a little bit. Not that I could imagine you just trolling someone in a chat. It's almost unfathomable. But your reaction was, well, that does it. I'm not buying a PS5. You've convinced me.
He did. I'm not buying one now. And I was definitely going to
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
that was next thing on the list was I was getting a PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
That was
well,
that
your
was
list is quite big of things that you wanted to get and then ended up getting.
it ended up getting. I did ended up getting.
You got them all, baby.
So hold on. Before we tie up Cyberpunk,
All right, yeah.
love love the game. We've put in a lot of hours. To this point, your rating.
To this point, I would say I would give it an 8.
An eight.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like if everything was fixed, if it was like a perfect game and there was no glitches, which doesn't happen in games. We'll talk about one later on when I think we're going to talk about what we think we're going to talk about. But even if it was perfect and everything, I probably would put it up in the nines, 9 point something. But I got a knockoff point off for being as glitchy as it is, at least a point for me. So it's not a perfect game, but I love it. Highly recommended. 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 16 out of 20. Actually, 17 out of 20.
And so for me,
Yeah, that's next. What do you rate?
I I would give it a 9. I I'll give it a 9 from the point that I actually was at, not from the
Not
point
from
that
level
I'm
2.
currently at. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if for no other reason than the story is so good and it can suck you in to the world in just such an incredible way. Like it really, really is completely unique and different to just about any other RPG style game that I've ever played. And you're right about you talked about, Assassin's Creed and everything. And I bought Valhalla. I've been playing a little bit of it and already I'm like, "Oh man, this is not the same. This is so much more limiting and not, as exciting or as narrative driven." And I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting into it. So yeah, glitches, fine. I even have a buddy at work who, he's spent 60 plus hours on the game too, and he plays it on console, original Xbox One,
Hmm.
and he's like, I don't care. It's so glitchy, it drops frames, but I don't care. The game is so good that I just don't care. I love the game, and that's kind of how I feel. I know there are glitches, and maybe without the glitches, I'd give it a 10 of 10. Like if my hair actually stayed on my head, or if when I'm looking in the mirror that my pee pee wasn't showing all the time. Maybe a 10 out of 10, but
Tough
I
to
don't
rate a
I
game
don't
of
care
10 out
either.
of 10 when you can see your pee pee all the time.
I mean, if I wanted to see it all the time, it'd be great, but
Okay,
nobody
I think
wants
I know.
to
I think we all know why it's
see that.
there all the time. Oops. Oh well.
So 9
But
out of 10.
okay, that's fair. I have not done a lot of the story. I've done a lot of side. I think once I get through the story, I may have a updated rating. We'll see. I don't know. I
And
earlier when
your ending may be different than mine, which might sway your
it might
rating. My
suck.
ending was just how I would have wanted it, and
Okay.
I fucking loved it.
Well, see, yeah, there's stay tuned for my real update at the end of the end. Okay,
So,
I think it's time we get into. You rated 9 out of 10. We wanted.
yeah.
I gave 8, maybe 8.5, but not game of the year for you. Not game of the year for me. What's your game of the year?
So I mean, it's got to be it's got to be one of two. And I know that's a little bit of a cop out, but it's one of two because my game of the year didn't come out in 2020. I just finally started playing it in 2020.
Which, by the way,
And
before you jump on that, to tie up Cyberpunk, it did come out on the day the Game of the Year awards came out. So I think they knew they were shooting for 2021 Game of the Year. I think we all know what they're shooting for. I think it's a little bit dirty and underhanded. But what's this game that came out in the 80s that you played in 2020?
A little game called Tetris. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, game of the Year, 1989.
No, I mean, for real, my game of the year would be Red Dead Redemption 2, and it didn't come out this year. But I fucking love that game. I have never cried so hard in a video game. I was a wreck for a day after playing that game because I felt that story so hard. That was incredible. It was so well voice acted. It was so well progressed, and the only thing that I don't like it, and I will spoil this because I don't care. You guys had since 2018. Suck my dick. The only thing that I don't like about it is that there was no like alternative to keep Arthur from getting TB. Like maybe you could have done like an alternate way where he dies nonetheless, like some sort of divergent path. I don't know. But that was my only gripe with it. But man alive, my sunset ending where I'm fighting Micah on the hillside, and when you've just run and you're like hearing the people and the things that you've done over the course of the game, and you know that it's your last ride, that it's your swan song, that you're going to meet your fate, and it's just so good. It's like True Grit, 310 to Yuma, everything all just rolled into one, and it was fantastic. So that would be it. Outside of that, and I know, I'm sorry, I kind of droned on.
Did it come out in 2020 on
No,
PC? On PC.
No, it didn't. It came out in 2019 on PC.
Okay. Well, then you get no forgiveness. Okay. I was about ready to forgive you, but I take it all back.
Outside of that, it's got to be the one that we've just poured ample amount of time and hours into, and it's got to be Warzone. I mean, we have spent so much time in that game, and it fits both of our competitive nature and style. And the gunplay is so good. It's definitely had some really shitty glitches. The Optimus Prime guns and all of that were not fun or enjoyable. But in and of itself, I mean, it's competitive, and every time you die, it's like the worst thing that's happened in your day. And every time you win, it's just that shot of cocaine or something to keep you wanting to go back for more. It's incredible. I love BRs. I think we've talked about it even on this podcast before. I love BRs because every match is you dominated, 100 other people, 150 other people, and you came out on top of all of those people. And I love the stakes that are on that. I love the feeling that you get when you can say, in this match, we were the fucking best, and everyone had the same, chance at it, same life, same ability, all of that. And so I love it. I love Warzone. In fact, we're going to play some Warzone today, I think, but
Indeed.
Love it. That would be my game of the year.
I would it's my second game of the year. Warzone's my second game of the year for the same thing that you just stated, the stakes. I love playing for stakes. If there's not that we play for anything outside of the game, not that kind of stakes, but like there's more than just multiplayer. Like when I play Call of Duty multiplayer, it's fun and I have a good time playing with friends, multiplayer games, and whatever. I'm not going to disparage the fun time that I have, but I have never got that shot of cocaine from a multiplayer experience on Call of Duty ever. Like you never, like, even just like, oh man, I just got 5 kills in a row or 6, or apparently I'm not that good. 5 kills is great for me, but like Even then it's like fun and like yeah, but like my palms aren't sweating. My heart isn't beating. I don't have to like sit up and shake my way out. Like it just feels so good to get that win. Not every win is the same. Not every win is a full on, but like you know there are wins in the battle royale genre, and especially in Call of Duty Warzone, that really just hit you right in the artery. And so that's why it gets my number two. But
Okay.
my number one spot, surrounded by controversy, another game that came out with launch issues, and not issues on part of the developer, issues on part of the community. The Last of Us 2. I will. We spoiled Red Dead. I won't spoil Last of Us 2, but I will say you talked about crying in Red Dead Redemption 2, and I remember those moments. I feel like they were years and years ago. So like back in the times of the Wild Wild West almost. It was so long ago that I played that game, but it is still so beautiful. This game this game was pure emotion. It was grappling with your own emotions about what's happening in the game, and grappling with what's happening in the game, and having to go through and play as you play as two different characters in the game. I'll give that. But like your initial reactions to everything that's going on. I don't know, maybe we should spoil it. It's been out for a year, but I want to keep it. I want to keep it out because I'm so spoiler alert in my own life. Movies, games, whatever. I try not
Yeah,
to. I try
we're
not to
very
be.
well aware.
Yeah, I know. He's not annoyed. Luckily, he's on camera, and you can see him rolling his eyes. but, but I'm a little dick about it, so I won't. But it's so good. The roller coaster that you go on personally through these characters was the best gaming experience I've ever had by far. You just ride these emotions, ups, downs, weird emotions, inverted emotions of like, what should I be feeling? What do I want to feel? Why am I playing this game but I can't stop playing this game? I hate this right now but I can't stop. I fucking love this right now. Oh my god. Oh no, what's happening? I'm crying. Like it's so good, and being able to have that in a video game. It's that shot of cocaine that you're talking about with Warzone. It's this, but it's not a shot of cocaine. It's like a shot of reality in a digital world. It's so good.
Very raw emotion with that too. I guess my raw emotion comes out in Warzone too, but it usually manifests itself in rage. But I watched you play that entire game, mostly because I don't have a PlayStation, and uh, even if I did have a PlayStation, I don't do very well with the scarier types of games anyway. So, I watched you play that entire game, and there were so many times where even though I wasn't actually the one interacting in that game, I was still tearing up and I was still emotional watching it. And I don't, I never actually understood or looked into what the controversy was. And so while I was watching you, I was kind of trying to see, all right, what do people have problems with? Like, what's the controversy here? And for the most part, I didn't really see it. I thought it was a good story. Like I said, I was emotionally involved and I wasn't even the one playing. So I I don't know. I don't know what the real problem with it was even still. And I don't really care to know, to be honest. I'd rather not have other people's opinions impact my own, because when I watched you play it, and through the prism of you, uh, I I enjoyed it. I liked that game. I have a hard time, arguing with you about that game as your game of the year, because A, I never played it, and B, from what I watched, it was a worthy contender.
It is, and I feel the same way about all the opinions. I don't spoil things for myself, and I don't care what a million other people think. If you've got some sort of intellectual reason of whatever the fuck, great, congratulations. If you're a fucking mouth breather and you can't see outside your own room, great. And by great, I mean go fuck yourself. But but I really do mean great. Everyone can have their own opinions about it. That's fine.
Yeah, but your opinions can also be fucking wrong and stupid.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're entitled to your stupid ass opinion. It doesn't make it any less stupid or wrong or uneducated. So go take your mouth breathing stupid ass opinion back to your little troll cave and shut the hell up.
Yeah, and if you don't want to play the game, fine. It's fine. It's Game of the Year for a reason from the people who actually make Game of the Year. And it gets the OPNess, the O Game of the Year stamp. Whereas the P went to Red Dead Redemption 2, even though not this year.
Officially goes to Warzone.
Okay, all right. The official one goes to Warzone. That's fine.
The official one goes to Warzone. The hey, I'm behind the times. Don't judge me. Goes to Red Dead. Jeez, Danny, why you gotta make me feel bad? Okay, I know I got on the train late.
Hey, look, I also give it Game of the Year 2 years ago, so I agree with you in the sense that it's Game of the Year, but I don't agree with you in the sense that it's Game of the Year. Game of this year.
I feel like I just gave Red Dead the Ben Simmons treatment, where it's not he's not a rookie anymore, but he still won Rookie of the Year. I gave that to Red Dead.
Poor Donovan. I don't want to go back and see what text you had about Donovan, but I guarantee they weren't supporting Ben.
Maybe I'll go back and give it Game of the Year next year too. How about that?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe we'll give Cyberpunk Game of the Year next year.
Well, Cyberpunk probably will win Game of the Year next year.
Who knows? I don't. There's good stuff coming out next year.
Like what? What's coming up?
I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, is that primarily because you don't know, or?
Yeah, that's because I don't know. But yeah, well, beautiful, man. We've got Game of the Year tied up right before the end of the year, December 26th. We're on Boxing Day here. And,
that's true. What is Boxing Day exactly in the UK? You lived there.
Yeah, you box everything up from Christmas. Everything.
Is that really it?
I don't know. That's what we always said. I didn't really dig into the history, but you box everything up, and it's Boxing Day. You need a day off to box everything up from Christmas, so they give them Boxing Day.
I thought that their Christmas season goes till the 12th of January or something.
That's Brazil? I don't know. They have Three Kings Day and the some of the Latino cultures, but Hispanic cultures, I don't know, whatever.
So Boxing Day is box shit up day. That sounds good.
Yeah, it does. It's fantastic. We just boxed up Game of the Year right here on Boxing Day.
So have you actually boxed up all your Christmas decor?
No, they give you a day, but I take a week.
I usually take my stuff down at after New Year's.
Well, that's probably what's gonna happen with ours, because we'll probably do it this weekend. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I think we can wrap it up right there, my friend.
Yeah, I think so too.
Something else that's burning, itching, like the inner thigh of your zit popping, pimple popping. You distorted out. That's beautiful. That's a great way to end, right? We're ending on the distortion. I'm cutting it at the distortion.
I don't want to do it anymore. Fuck you. Goodbye, everyone. We'll do this again in 7 months.
Happy New Year. All that
Happy New Year. All that shit. I'm done.